Garbage men, woman of the world, what is the best worst thing you have found thrown away? When I was a kid, my dad worked for a company that hauled away dumpsters and at one point found an old alto sax complete in the box. Ended up playing it for 4 years up until high school when it was stolen. Could not play after that since my family could not afford a rental, let alone pay for a new one. Dude, that ducking sucks. I would have gladly given you my old one or pulled strings at my local music store to keep you sax in. Friend of ours found 2 bullet resistant vests with paramedic written across them being thrown out behind a fire station. I guess they expired or something. Kevlar degrades over time, especially if you get sweat on it. It is super hard to say and stuff like that. Heck, given the situation, there could be chemical BO on it from a call. Firefighters, paramedics see so much random stuff. Worked as a garbage man for a very short time last summer, but the best thing I found was an edition of my local newspaper from the day after the Challenger exploded. My dad used to rent out apartments. One tenant had died and left behind some stuff. There was an old newspaper dated the day before Archduke Ferdinand had been assassinated. Did the tenant die or just move on to their next false identity as an immortal? Haha. I have an elderly friend whose father fought for the Austro-Hungarian Empire. 97 years old. Elaine cedar chest. I was helping my dad clean out this lady's garage, and she said, as long as we were there, we might as well take that, too. She said she always hated the smell of cedar, but her husband would not let her get rid of it, and now that he was dead, she was sending it on its way. The veneer was never in great shape, but it still keeps my wool items safe. I have had it for over 30 years now. I have an old dresser that had the veneer get messed up. I just stripped it off and waxed it. The piece looks great, and I don't have to look at chipped veneer anymore. I should do that. Half the wood around the base is showing already. My little brother was emptying out a client's basement and everything was going to be thrown away, so my brother was told to keep anything he wanted. He saw a nice looking bike and took it. Turns out it was a Datsun P8 30th anniversary limited edition and in perfect condition. From what I found on it, it goes for over 4k. Can I have it back please? I forgot it was valuable. Of course you can. Stinky Footman 2016. Maybe he just got fat without his bike. Give this man his bike back. In the 80s I picked up a number of Philips color TVs. I had a few, so fixing them was just a question of swapping parts. I then sold them cheaply or gave them away to fellow students. My dad was a trash man. When I was growing up, he would always be bringing cool stuff home to us. He used to always say that the poor neighborhoods had the most trash and they threw away literally everything. The 2 best ones that I can think of was a brand new BMX bike and like 20 Nintendo 64 games that he found at a video rental store. Also once at the transfer station, one of his correctional officer workers found a dummy arm in the big pile of trash. He pulled it and it ended up being a dead guy. The police later determined that it was a homeless person that got picked up and died when the trash truck compacted him. I worked in the scrap metal business and have found not 1, but 2 of 3 exact same bread statue of 2 bears screwing each other. Brass statue. My bad. Congrats, you made me Google bread statue. Do I want to Google it? I did. No danger. Still confused though. I worked as a garbage man in 1972. A small stray cat jumped into the back of the hopper to look for food. I took him home and named him Sagan. This was the best thing. Second best thing, someone threw out an old pair of skis. There was snow on the ground and me and the other guy each took a ski and stood on it and held onto the truck. Great fun. Third best, we found an entire case of Brial cream. Look it up, and me and the other guy had Brial cream fights all day. Total mess. I stripped off before going into my house after work. Worst things, a garbage can that had live coals in it that started our truck on fire. All the other posts are sharing things of monetary value, and here you are with your wholesome good times. Probably because in 1972 stuff had actual value and did not get thrown away. In the early 2000s, my best friend's dad was a garage man. I used to hang out at their house a lot, and I remember him finding uncut sheets of holographic Dragon Ball Z trading cards in the trash and bringing them back. They were super dope to see. Would the uncut sheets increase their value, or would them being in the trash decrease their value? Toy collector here. These kind of things are extremely difficult to assign a value to. They're both extremely rare, and in a typical condition, it would be very hard to sell. But if you found the right buyer, they could be worth quite a bit. This is a type of thing that would probably be best unloaded at an auction, which is where the rare oddities often go. The fact that they were in a dumpster probably wouldn't affect the value very much unless they were completely trashed, because that's about the only place you would ever find them. Condition is always a factor in valuation, but most collectors understand that sometimes you just gotta take what you can get. Then there is also the potential for lawsuits from the creators for selling unauthorized merchandise. Unlikely, but it could happen, depending on how much they care about copyrights and how much you made selling something they considered trash. So yeah, the potential for high value is there, but you'd have to pitch these items and generate the interest yourself, and then risk toy company lawyers coming after you. Not worth it in my opinion, but I am sure someone out there would be crazy enough to try. He has no chance of getting sued. Other card games have uncut sheets exist in the wild, often as promo materials. He does not have to tell anyone how he found them, and even then they threw it out, so it is fair game. As for value, in other games that are currently played, they are worth some money, but no one really cares about the DBZ game from 20 years ago, so it may not be worth much. Found a 55-inch TV next to the dumpster 4 years ago. It was missing one HDMI port on the side. It looked like someone might have tripped and ripped it out. Anyway, I opened it up, googled the motherboard serial number, and found a brand new replacement for like 60 less than 25 minutes away. Needless to say, I called ahead on my day off, picked it up, and it works like a charm. Still use the TV to this day. 55-inch Sony 2012 LCD TV. I have Chromecast with Google TV hooked up to it now, and it is awesome. For a couple years we were using a high-powered 720p projector meant for lecture halls as our TV. It would been thrown out because it did not work, which turned out to be because there was a big dust bowl in the mechanism, and it was otherwise in perfect condition. We have got a less bright 1080p projector now, but honestly overall I preferred the old one. I can barely tell the difference in image sharpness most of the time, and the contrast was so much better. Brightness and contrast are the most important with projectors in my opinion. When I was a kid I found a couch. It was not very big, but that's why it was so great. 10-year-old me was able to carry it all the way home by myself. About a block and a half. This was before kids having cell phones were huge, so I did not call my parents about it first, and they were at the store anyways. So I took the couch home and put it in my room. It was pretty dated, made of some material I have never encountered again so far, but I thought I was the shit. I had a whole couch in my room. How many 10-year-olds had couches in their room? Well, my parents came home and clearly were not happy, but given I carried it up to the second story and got it into my room, they let me keep it. My downstairs neighbor helped me. I felt like a king. I had a couch. I had a big box TV for my PlayStation. I had it all. Simpler times. Edit. So I just realized I misread the post entirely, and that this was intended for the garbage pickup people and not dumpster diving stories. My bad. Lol. Year ago when I was in high school, me and a couple friends had walked to a corner store that was down the street from the school. On the way, we passed down an alley and spotted a couch, armchair, 2 side tables, coffee table and a lamp set, 2 table lamps, a tall floor lamp sitting there with a free sign. The guy at the house said he was moving and could not take them. So like typical idiot kids, we took them. We decided to set them up in a little park a bit further down the road and chill there and eat lunch. It was great. Shortly after we got things set up, the owner guy drove by and stopped to ask if we wanted a cheap set of golf clubs. Yes we did. About 10 minutes after that, a police car rolled up. Apparently someone called them saying there was a group of teenagers with golf clubs in the park. They told us they expected to roll up and find us smashing things with the club S. What they did not expect was to find us hanging out in a park eating lunch while chilling on a couch, feet on a coffee table, while a couple of the guys practiced putting. Laughing my freaking butt off. I could see this as a good bonding scene in a movie. My friend found a PS4 excellent condition and a brand new controller still in the box. So mom had enough of her TNES shit, or an employee threw it away to go steal it later after their shift. Or they realized GameStop wouldn't even give them enough to cover the gas to the store. So it was just cheaper to throw them out. I'm not a garbage man, but I once scored a whole custom built staircase from a dumpster. It was in perfect condition, but apparently built to the wrong spec. It worked great for my barn. How the hell do you throw away a staircase? Then how do you get it out and to your barn? Yeah, throwing away a whole staircase is actually pretty complicated. There are quite a few steps. Duck you and thanks. Not me but my brother. Someone apparently threw out grandpa's stuff from the attic after he passed away. This was the last scheduled pickup at the house and everything was already moved out. Nobody living there. Driving an automated claw to grab and dump truck. My brother was irritated there were these 2 bowling bags he had to get out to throw in the truck. He realized they seemed a bit heavy, so he opened them to see why. Inside there was real silverware flatware. He ended up selling it for scrap prices to a jeweler and got $3,000. Raises the question of what it was actually worth. About 900 per kilogram. Tableware is not a valuable sides it. Scrap. My mom inherited a huge wedding set she got when her grandmother passed away. It was from the late 1800s. She thought the same thing, that it would only be worth TGE silver weight. The scrap dealer originally offered her $2,500 for the pile. Then he really looked at the silverware. He realized it was worth something as a set and withdrew his offer because it was worth far more and the work on the pattern was too beautiful for him to melt. Offered her $10,000 and said she could get $15,000 easy if she auctioned it. She auctioned it and received $18,000 after fees. I do not remember much about the set, except that the flatware pieces were very heavy and beautiful, and you could have killed someone with the serving spoons. The serving platter could have easily held a whole cooked lamb. My father was a garbage man who also did cleanouts for homes and businesses, where they would rip apart the entire building and throw everything out in their dumpsters. He worked on a ton of really massive houses, some worth tens of millions of dollars. One was worth 40 million and was not even the permanent residence. Best things I got as a kid. A pretty much unused trampoline with a net and everything. A go-kart that my dad's friend was able to fix up and we used all the time. I live on a dead end. And once he cleaned out a deli that was closing down. And we no joke had unlimited Snapples and sodas of every flavor for almost a year. I would drink the Snapples while out on the trampoline. I used the hell out of all 3 of those things in my childhood. I was a garbage man for a few years. And on these trucks it had a grapple arm that come out off the side of the truck and grabs the bin, lifts and dumps it. There are 3 cameras on the truck. 2 to see the bin and help you line up and grab a hold of it, and then switches to another camera view as you dump the bin out and you can see the trash fall out. Well, one day I am doing my run. Grab a trash bin, pick it up, dump it, and out falls a bunch of mannequin parts. I nearly shit myself thinking a serial killer dismembered somebody and put them in the trash. Bought a mannequin head at a garage sale, then stuck it in my fridge because my mom was visiting the next day. I asked her to grab a beer for me. Hilarity ensued. Good times. Too funny. That's some top tier evil there, bud. Not a garbage person, but I live in a large apartment complex. I could have furnished multiple apartments with all the stuff that gets thrown out here and partially furnished mine. But the best thing I've ever seen in the pile was one of those grandfather clocks you can make from a kit. Still looked very nice, but it needed some fixing to get it to run again. I am still waiting to find a piano. I would like a piano. Hey, for free stuff like furniture and kitchen supplies and random but stuff you might need. Head to large college campuses at end of semester. A lot of the big ones have zones to drop crap dorm livers don't need anymore, or can bring home to the parents' house. I've gotten so much fantastic stuff in good condition for free before they dumped it to a landfill. Some friends and I take a truck 2 hours across state and get a great haul. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.